offers classes Monday and Thursday at her 2 locations and via Zoom. Classes consist of manifestation, learning psychic abilities, shadow work, and healing trauma. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
This is Psychic Medium Deb. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations, exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Overnight tonight, clearing skies with a low of 53. Then Thursday, sunshine with a high of 75. Spend your summer with some of the hottest musical acts around at Crooner's Supper Club in Fridley. Crooner's is located just north of I-694 off Highway 65 and Moore Lake Drive. Visit croonersmn.com to view their schedules and food menus.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us, share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday evening. Lots to get to tonight, so we're going to kind of get going here. Shockingly, it is kind of, I think it's going to be kind of a Adam-centric program tonight, which is really, I really need to sit in on the production meetings and actually listen, because otherwise I wouldn't have let that go through, that's for sure. But Adam, meanwhile, in Eden Prairie, are you ready for tonight?
You said that, I heard every radio in the metro go click. But no, I am actually, I am very much ready for this because I really know nothing about numerology.
No.
I know nothing about it. And this is going to be not only interesting, but very educational.
So what's happening tonight is we're bringing the OG back here, and that is Moon Girl, Mistress of the Paranormal, and Moon Girl has been on this journey with us at GhostBox for quite some time. She actually was our first guest that we had when we went nightly back in 2023, and I couldn't think of a better way to start that part of my radio life, and it's been great and love having her on. We're going to talk in a second a couple of things. First off, she was on in December of 2024, and she gave some predictions that honestly we're going to talk about how accurate those have been. We're going to talk about numerology, and then in the second segment tonight we have we're going to be Moon Girl did all the work, but Moon Girl is going to do a reading of Adam based on his birthday through numerology, and we're going to be talking about that. And it's going to be quite the night. And so, first of all, I'd like to welcome our very, very special guest, psychic medium Moon Girl, Mistress of the Paranormal. Moon Girl, how are you doing?
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me. I always love coming on here, hanging out with you guys.
it's great. It's hard to believe that it's been since December, I think, since you've been on. When you're on, you came here with a lot of doom and gloom with all your predictions, and I remember thinking Ohio's in trouble and don't fly. This is in December of 2024. Since then, when I was saying that jokingly in December of 2024, now I do not want to fly because it's been a lot of tragedies since mainly January. I mean, as a psychic medium, as someone who does these predictions, I can't imagine you're too terribly surprised since you came up with these predictions. I mean, if you're surprised, to me, it seems like then it just seems counterintuitive that you'd be surprised about such things.
Yeah, but when it comes to something that's, negative, there's always a hope that I'm wrong, especially if it's on a larger scale.
Sure.
I'd rather be wrong than people get hurt, and you may not always be right, but I would have loved to have been wrong. And unfortunately, we had a bunch of horrible incidents this whole year. Like I said, we're in a 9-year cycle, and I told you there was a lot of people who were going to unfortunately pass away this year, and we've been seeing that.
I'm trying to remember, you kind of talked about people that I'm trying to remember if you worded it as famous people or people we know. And to me, that's a huge difference, because I've noticed this year, I've lost a lot of people that I know. You know what I mean? Where there's been a lot of famous people that have passed, but this year there's been people that have been in my life that have passed away. And I don't mean that this was a reading for me. I mean, just for people in general. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, like I said, this was like a general reading, like it was for everyone, the collective. I thought that there was going to be a lot of people who passed away, and there was going to be kind of highlighted some people who were in the entertainment business, because a lot of them happen to be a 9 life path number.
That's right, yeah.
So you guys heard of the 27 Club, correct? The musicians and stuff.
Yep.
So again, I mean, I'm not good at math, but 2 plus 7 is 9.
Yeah.
So these are people who come in, complete what they were supposed to complete, their duty in life, and then they move on. So this is why you see a lot of people. Well, there's a lot of controversy with the number 9, but we'll get into that later. But people come in, it's kind of like completions, so we can evolve.
Absolutely. And that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And I just remember just sending you, and I'm sure a lot of people were sending you like news that was happening, just like, my gosh, sadly, look at this or look at this, kind of to just sort of like, what, you just want to let you know, it's kind of macabre, but that I am macabre at the same time, sending you stuff like, yeah, you're right, look here, check this out, check what's happening in Ohio, or not Ohio, Ohio, that's what it was, Ohio.
Yeah, that earthquake. And we joked about it, saying, "No, it could be something simple as a earthquake," and then there was 2.
There was 2. It just absolutely, and to your point, and I think what you said is so important for cynical people like me, and I'm just, when I say cynical, not cynical towards what you do, but just a cynical human being in general, that kind of bringing it back a little bit to be like, part of me is like, how amazing that you're getting all these right. But to your point, how unfortunate that these were the things that had been predicted, because a lot of people, their lives are either put in danger or they lost their lives. And I think these are important things to remember in these situations. And I appreciate that you kind of keep that sort of groundedness. I mean, you would, but for people like me, it's also important to just kind of be reminded that this is real life, and this is stuff that it's unfortunate to happen, but it's something that you were able to see.
Yeah, and one of my predictions for this year was that there would be issues with the water, and then I actually went on another podcast and I spoke to them. I'm like, I'm really concerned with issues with water this year, especially since Jupiter moved into Cancer. The moon naturally pulls in water. Cancer is a water sign. It's going to be there from June 2025 till June 2026. So I expected a lot of floods, unexpected floods, issues with water, possibly a tsunami, really hoping that that doesn't happen, the tsunami thing. But we just saw that Alaska is having something to do with a possibility of tsunami, people wanting to move away from the water, things happening with the ocean. And, it's unfortunate because, I mean, I'm in Texas, I'm in South Texas. I had a horrible flood in late March.
That's right.
Jupiter wasn't in Cancer yet. And then it's like a preview of what's to come. And then we had all this stuff happening. And I mean, their flood was like 100 times worse than mine. So I could only imagine. Then we had another flood somewhere else. I think the Philippines also had a flood. And what is
Yeah.
it, New Jersey? What was it? Philadelphia. We had all these horrible floods.
It's frightening. It's frightening to be very honest. And you're right. There's the tsunami warning right now over in Alaska, and I mean, tsunamis. Those are scary. I mean, I don't talk from experience. I just from what I see. I mean, it's just not. I mean, there is absolutely nothing good comes out of those. Very frightening stuff. So. For just to kind of start us off here a little bit, for people who want to follow you, because you do a lot of social media. You're on there. You're talking. You're sharing a lot of information, a lot of insights. Before we go any further, because I think people might, after we talk like this, people might be like, I'd like to kind of keep track of what she has to say. Where should people go?
You guys can follow me on my Instagram. It's Moon Girl, Mistress of the Paranormal. I have a second one called Moon Girl Paranormal. You can follow me on TikTok. When they don't take it down, it's Moon Girl, Mistress of the Paranormal, and YouTube, I guess, Moon Girl Paranormal, I think, and the clapper that we joke about. That's a Moon
I think
Girl
you're the only one that
Paranormal.
uses that, to be honest. But
you know what? It's very limited of what you can do on there. So, I'll jump on there once in a while. Throw a little short video, but it's, yeah.
Yeah. If you're not following Moon Girl, please do so. I think that you will get a lot of good information from that. And so that's one reason why we have her with us tonight, because we want to talk about some interesting stuff here. And first off, the focus of the program tonight is numerology. For those, and there's so much, and people throw the term numerology around a lot. What is it?
Numerology is basically the energy that's imprinted in us when we're born, the numbers, into the numbers. So we use this not only your date of birth, but also you can use it for your full name. And just like in face readings, I tell people, remember, I tell you, I need like a before if you had work done, and then after if you did. Same thing with numerology. It's like I need your, birth name. And if you have changed it, you need to let me know, whether through marriage or, career wise, or you just wanted to change it, whatever. And then we can kind of compare both to see how you feel now and versus how you felt before, because, it really does change your destiny. Just like when you do work on your face with Chinese face readings, it kind of changes your path. The same thing if you change your name when you're doing this with numerology.
Yeah.
For numerology.
That's very interesting, and surprisingly, we really haven't talked about numerology before on the program. We've talked about. I remember that you did the face reading. We talked about bananas. The banana reading or whatever that was. But and that's the thing that I am constantly impressed
thinking about bananas. No, just
thinking about bananas, thinking, yep, that's really what it comes down to. Only what it comes down to. But just the pure amount of stuff and that you practice. I just think that is incredible. That you are, that you just, you just live this, and that you're doing so many different modalities. How do you keep up with it all?
You know what? I've been doing this for basically 30 years since I was 12. I'm 40. So, it's just like I told you before, it's once I turned 12, it was like a light switch. It was like remembering things. So it was easy for me to take it on. And I've been doing it for so long. And yes, a lot goes into it. And, once you go into one rabbit hole, it leads you to another 100 and then another 100 from that one. So there's a lot. And again, this is why I kind of like using different forms of divination, because you can really put the whole picture together versus you just using one thing and you get little bits and pieces. You get a larger, I guess I would say like a movie versus, a preview.
Sure. That's really interesting. We just had on Psychic Medium Refined Divine on last night talking about awakenings, the awakening process. So you talking about, the light switch going on at the age of 12. I find that very interesting. So this is what we're going to do, folks. We have a guinea pig over in Eden Prairie. His name's Adam. And honestly, Moon Girl had asked me for my birth date, and I said, well, it's before recorded time. And in all honesty, I thought, we did the face reading with me last time. If Adam was okay with it, really thought it'd be fun to have Adam read, and that I thought that'd be fun until Moon Girl sends me a note. She's like, do you think we should read this stuff on air about Adam? I'm like, it makes me think, what on earth are we going to find out about him tonight? I can only
secret life. No.
Right. Oh my goodness. Oh, Adam, we're gonna.
That life is secret to me too.
After the podcast, he's a stripper. Nobody knows.
He's actually a banana in real life. So why don't we do this? Let's go ahead, take our first break. When we come back, we're going to find out a little bit more about Adam through numerology. Everyone, don't go anywhere. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
Madison Comic and Pop Culture Expo comes to the Alliant Energy Center August 9th and 10th. Madison Comic and Pop Culture Expo is a celebration of comics, toys, TV, film, art, cosplay, games, and all things nerdy. It's also a family-friendly event where you can meet your favorite celebrities, browse the vendor hall and artist alley for all the coolest merch, watch celebrity Q&As, and even more. Madison Comic and Pop Culture Expo, also known as MadX, is going to be huge, with guests like Walter Jones from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, legendary wrestler Sting, plus other great guests from voice actors, authors, and artists all over the entire weekend. 2 days of action-packed fun at the Alliant Energy Center. Tickets start at $53. Kids tickets are just $9.99 for the entire weekend. Don't wait to get your tickets. Buy your tickets and get more information at MadisonComicExpo.com. MadX is Wisconsin's biggest Comic-Con, and don't forget Twin Cities Con is coming up in November. New guests are being announced all the time. Go to TwinCitiesCon.com for more information.
Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations, exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information. And if you are watching us tonight on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun on Facebook, I would like to ask if you are able to send some stars my way. Sending me stars actually really helps the algorithm of what Facebook shows and what it shares out and what it gives to other people on their feed. You know, as with everything that everyone's trying to do, we're trying to build a community, build an audience. So if you're able to send some stars my way, that very much helps the show. It helps our channel, helps everything. Another way to help us is going through our Patreon. I have a Patreon that starts as low as $3 a month. It has the backlog of GhostBox Radio going back 10 years, going back to the Para X radio network. So lots of great programming there. And remember, this stuff doesn't really age, these shows. So there's some really great programs in there, including that of some paranormal folks that are sadly no longer with us. But they were able to give their really fantastic point of view on all these subjects. And we have those recorded and available for people to listen to. All you need to do is go to patreon.com/GhostBox Radio. And there, like I said, starts as low as $3 a month, but there's other options as well. Please consider doing so. We have with us tonight our very special guest. We have Moon Girl, Mistress of the Paranormal. She is doing some numerology. We're talking numerology tonight. This isn't something where, it's like a one-question reading where someone can ask and get something, and there needs to be preparation and stuff to get this going. And it's quite the skill. Very much excited because Moon Girl has put something together about Adam based on his birth date, social security number. No, I'm just kidding. But
oh, and my PIN number is
I bought a new house.
so yeah. So before we get to this, Adam, how are you feeling about you? I mean, and I don't want to hear. I don't really care because that's not good radio. We need some good radio here for once.
I'm actually for once you're asking me. That's a tall order. No, I'm actually very excited because I've heard of numerology. I've never had it done. I've never, looked into it more than probably only the past few months when it was first kind of brought to my attention. And so this is very interesting for me. Like I've had Deb do readings on me as well before for our 1-question readings. Didn't know what she was going to say. Same with Moon Girl here. I sent the information off and I am very excited to see what my numbers add up to or subtract to.
So here we go. Let's go ahead and do this. And I'm just going to let Moon Girl kind of take it. And then, of course, Adam, if you're okay with this, Moon Girl, if he has questions to jump in or just want him to keep his mouth shut for once for more than 5 minutes.
The irony is I hate math and I'm not very good at it. And here we are.
Well, that might explain what you're going to hear here in a couple seconds.
Right. Yeah. Well, I want to start off by saying that you can use numerology for a lot of different things, from what days you should get married, who your spouse should be, what days you should avoid doing certain things to not get in trouble, those type of things. And every number has good energy and I would say bad energy, depending on the person. If they're vibrating on a higher level or on a lower level, you will get that energy imprinted on them. Do you know what I'm saying? So one way you can do this is, which is the most important, is the life path number. People also call it the soul number. This is when you add up your whole birthday and you break it down to a single digit. Unless it's a master number, which will be 11, 22, 33. You never break those down. Now you can also do a destiny number. This is what or people call it expression number. This is what you strive for. And the way you would do this is you would get someone's full name and whatever number is assigned to each letter, you would kind of add up. So it's your first name is Sarah, whatever the middle name is, and the last name so you're going to have 3 numbers. You're going to add those up. Again, until you break it down, unless it's a master number, you don't break that down either. And then we have the soul urge number, which is also the destiny number. This is the inner you, the hidden potential. So that's another thing that you can do to calculate this. You only use the vowels of the name. You can also have a dream number. This indicates what people's perception of you is, what their first impression of you is. By this, how you calculate this is only getting the consonants of your name, and you would use those numbers. Okay, so now that I got that out of the way, we're gonna do, which I feel is probably the most important one, is Adam's life path number. So we're going to start off with July. His birthday is July 30th, 1980. So July turns into a 7. Now 7 is the number of the genius. So these are people who tend to be very intelligent, quite bright, good with technology. So it makes sense that he's kind of doing this stuff. But on if you're vibrating on a lower level, this can be someone who tends to feel lonely a lot. So even though he's around people, he might feel alone or misunderstood. This is also somebody who might want or need that alone time from people. Like, okay, my social battery's out. I need some alone time for me. So and then we have also number 7 or anything that adds up to a 7. Those are not days you should get married, because more than likely you'll get a divorce. So, 7, 16, anything that kind of adds up to a 7 or breaks down to a 7. And now we have the 30th, which breaks down to a 3. This is really funny because he's into communication. We're doing this here, the podcast. It's all about communications. He's a communicator. So whether he's actually speaking or he's doing this with you, these are people who are great at networking. Or if they're not doing it, they should be doing it. So I'm not surprised that he's doing a podcast with you. These are networkers. These are also people who can be very funny or have a dry sense of humor. Most comedians are a 3 life path. If you're vibrating at a lower level, this can be someone who can be, a criminal, or who can dabble in questionable behavior, those type of things. Okay. Again, if they're vibrating on a lower level, or they can be kind of scattered here. So now we're going to move on to the 1980, which we add that up, it ends up to being a 9. Now, like I said earlier, the number 9 is very controversial. The way I see this number 9 is it embodies all the energy from the number prior to it and its own. So again, if you're vibrating at a high level, these can be people who are immensely creative because they're getting all the good traits of the other numbers and theirs. These are also people who can be, in the entertainment business in one way or another. They can be people who do really good things in the world. These are people who are good at breaking down systems that no longer work to rebuild something better. Now, if you're vibrating at a very low level, these people can potentially be immensely dangerous because they're getting all the negative traits of the prior numbers and their own. If put in some sort of position of power, they can even become like dictators, and vibrating on a low level, they can be aggressive, angry, again, like I said, potentially dangerous. But he's not, so we're good there. So but we put all that together, and his life path number is a number 1. So this is somebody who is very independent, someone who can be a trailblazer, someone who can be the first of something, someone who enjoys their freedom. This is also somebody who can be a leader, ambitious, brave, determined. But if he's operating on a low level, and we all have those days, this can be someone who can be controlling, aggressive, stubborn. This is also somebody who kind of is very set in their ways, or my way or the highway kind of thing. But again, it all depends on which way you're vibrating at the time.
Wow. Adam?
That's pretty good. And during the reading, my wife actually verified with that's correct. I definitely I don't do a lot of the seedy stuff. I'm certainly not violent. So
yes, again, like I said, people who are vibrating at a very low level, not
because you can ask Greg or anybody who knows me, I am the biggest pacifist you will ever meet.
Same.
And I mean, and I think that deserves being fleshed out a little bit, is that the story that you're telling, Moon Girl, is basically a story of where you are at an energetic level, and where Adam is at a high vibration. He's a very happy person.
Yes.
He's a very good person. So all the good attributes you're saying, that's where Adam resides. If he was chose the path of not being that, the other stuff is where he could possibly be.
Absolutely. I would say, I don't know if you're a drinker or not. Adam, but
Only
you
when I
know, I'm sorry to hear.
only when I grill out.
Oh, okay, great. Because life path number one should stay away from alcohol. I mean, they can have their drink, but I mean, they tend to be, if they're vibrating again at a low level, they can become like, have a problem with alcohol. That's what
Well,
I'm
I will
trying to
say,
say.
up until I met my wife, there
Mm.
was actually a time period between, I'm going to say 97 and late 2001 where there was a lot of drugs, alcohol, debauchery in that time period. And yes, that's when I was plotting my escape from Indiana. So yes, I was very low at that point. So I definitely can see that.
And also with the number 9, again, even though that's not your life path number, but it's there, these are people who are great at adapting to their environment. So you can adapt to anything. But also, these are people who can, again, if they're vibrating at a low level, they can also have some sort of addictive, I guess, traits, or they're prone to addictions, whether it's alcohol, substance abuse, sex, or anything like that. Again, these are if you're vibrating at a low level. So depending, like say you're always around, happy people, you'll adapt to that and be happy. If you're, around all these drug addicts, there's chances that you might, kind of adapt to that. Do you understand?
Yeah, and I definitely see that from earlier stage in my life because that's really all I was hanging out with.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool. And from an outsider point of view, such as my own, when you're talking about Adam and you're talking about all these attributes and stuff, like I said, from an outsider point of view, I'm like, I think you're pretty, spot on about, the positive stuff that you were saying about him and with those numbers and you don't know Adam, you've talked to him a couple of times. So, I mean, it's not like you're just like, kind of coming up with what you've experienced him. But I mean, whether I like it or not, I see him many times a week. So, I mean, I do see
I'm the highlight of your day, Greg.
You really, well, it's funny because when Patrick was saying that, tomorrow is going to be sunshine, I thought, no, Adam's not going to be in tomorrow because, you are sunshine. Yeah. Right. But back to reality. It was like, yeah, no, he is all those things. He's very funny. He's, very, he's talked about stuff that he has done that I would consider trailblazing. I mean, I think there's a lot of really cool things. So I think that, this is really interesting. I really like that. I really like what you've found out about Adam, because part of it too, isn't it? It's not necessarily finding out something new. It's kind of also a validation of kind of who you think you are, isn't it?
Oh, very much so. That validated a lot of stuff for me because if I'm being 100% on the real here, yeah, radio is a passion of mine. I've been like, what's the best way to put it? When I was a youngster, like I'm talking 2, 3, 4 years old and first started talking, I wouldn't shut up, to where we would pass by the local radio station where I grew up all the time. And my grandmother would be like, you're going to be doing that one day. And lo and behold, that was my first job, was actually at that station that we'd pass every day. So being in this field, being in communication, that makes a lot of sense. And I call it the low end of entertainment, but yeah, I've always wanted to be some sort of entertainment. I put podcasting just above, being a mime, but just below a stand-up comic. But, I do feel like this is, even what we talk about. Some nights it's gloom and doom. Some nights it's stuff like this. But I feel that, yeah, there's that entertainment purpose that I've always had that itch to fulfill.
It's so funny because I wanted to interrupt Moon Girl, and she's saying that, you're someone like you is going to be about entertainment. And I really wanted to interrupt and say, trust me, neither Adam nor I have ever entertained anybody. But I figured let's just let her do her job. And
you are right.
I'm not far off, am I?
No. Keep your comments to yourself, man.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Don't forget, I'm throwing myself in there as well. So, yeah, no, that was really cool. Now, how long did it take you to unravel this funny little thing we call Adam, numerology wise?
Well, a while, because I did several other things besides that. I will say also, it's funny that you mentioned that it's been your purpose, because I did your expression number, which is your destiny number, and which again, like I said mentioned earlier, it's adding up all the numbers that are assigned to your name, and you got the number 3, which again, all about communication. So you really do thrive for this. This is the environment where you feel more comfortable. This is kind of things you strive for.
Wow.
That is 100% accurate. Yeah. And I always thought it was just me being silly and not wanting a real job.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's I mean, this is why I love doing, or not even necessarily the show, but being in the field that we are when it comes to all of this, because it never ceases to amaze me, and it's, I don't come to it from an area of I don't believe it, but yet when you're reading everything that you've come up with the numbers, it's just so, it's so impressive, and it's just like, yeah, that's him. And to really zone in on the communication side of it, the entertainment side of it, it's just so wonderful, because to me it feels like that if we want to listen, there are paths for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that what we did tonight was a really good idea, that you had to do Adam instead of you, because, I do know you, we're friends, not to say that we're not friends with Adam, but I don't know Adam the way I know you.
I'm not friends with Adam either. Yeah.
No. So this is, going at it blindly, which I prefer, just like when we go do events, paranormal, hauntings, investigations. I don't really want to know. I just want to see what I pick up organically. Same thing when we do divination work.
Yeah.
So it works out even better that way. I will say too, Adam, I did your heart's desire, which was also called the soul urge number. This is when we only use the vowels, and we ended up getting a 9. So I already mentioned about the 9 earlier. So you see how, maybe before you might have struggled with things, and now you're vibrating at a higher level and you're doing much better. So, it all kind of makes sense.
Very much so, because the drinking all the time, because it literally was like a 5th of Jack Daniels and a 12-pack of beer damn near every night, if not every night, really, up until I met the woman who would become my wife.
And you see, and I'm sure she's a great person, and you're kind of like adapting to her energy. You see, you're taking on her good traits.
I take as many of her good traits as I possibly can.
Yeah.
She's listening, so I know that's the correct answer.
Absolutely.
That's really cool. Now I want to ask you, Mugo, because I need to take a break here. Do you, when we come back, do you have anything else that you want to kind of plan and talk through, or if people have questions, not like for you to read them, but just general numerology questions, like how it works, can people put those in the comments? Would you be okay with that?
Sure. Or we can even, whatever you want, or we can even kind of go through some of the numbers. What is good and what is not that great to do with those numbers. If that's perfect. What you want to do.
Let's do that. I think that's, because I think let's get to the stuff that people are going to really find useful and kind of keep in mind. I think that's absolutely perfect. Why don't we go ahead and do that? When we come back, we're going to go through some numbers. What's good, what's to avoid. Very special guest tonight, Moon Girl, Mistress of the Paranormal. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950.
Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh, every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations, exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information.
Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
And join me tomorrow on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. We are going to have a conversation with author Paul Blake Smith. We're going to be talking about the Nixon Gleason alien encounter. Did Jackie Gleason see alien bodies because he's friends with President Nixon? Did President Nixon bring him to a secret location to show off alien bodies? This is a conversation you do not want to miss. We're going to be talking with author Paul Blake Smith tomorrow about it. And then on Friday, as always, it's Casual Friday. We'll have question of the week. We'll have whatever's on your mind. We'll just do whatever, ease ourselves into the weekend. We are having quite the conversation. And if you've missed any of it, you got to go back and re-listen because this is fantastic. We have with us tonight Moon Girl, Mistress of the Paranormal, and really excited. She just, through numerology, kind of laid out kind of what Adam is all about in the last segment. Very interesting. Do you do this for people, by the way? I mean, do you, like, if people
Absolutely.
What's the best way for them to get a hold of you? Is this live? Can I start again? How's the best way to get a hold of you if they would like that for themselves?
I do a plethora of readings and divinations and dream interpretation, whatever. I do a lot of those things. And if anybody wants to book any type of reading or a paranormal event, they can message me on any of my socials and we can get that going for them.
That's fantastic. Now, in this last segment here, we were going to, apart from other things, go through some numbers, right? And including some to avoid. Where would you like to start?
Well, I mean, let's start with number one. Where else? So, all right, better. So with number one, it's masculine energy. Okay. So like I said earlier, this is someone who, or people with this number embedded in them, or things like on a one day. So like on the first, there's masculine energy here. So this is, I would avoid arguments on that day. Because there's a lot of, male energy, masculinity energy, whether you're a male or female or, they, them, what, it doesn't matter. So you can also see, and I don't mean to be rude, but, like the Gen X and the millennials are a little bit tougher than anyone who was born in the 2000s because, they had the 19, whatever, 100. Yeah. So you have that one energy there versus people who are born 2000 something, because that's more of a feminine energy. And that's whether you're a male or female. And that's not to say anything about sexuality. It just means that maybe you're just more in tone with that side of you, or you're just not as honestly as tough as Gen X or millennials. Okay. I'm going to be straight up. So you can expect on day ones, people, whether it's you or other people around you, arguing, fighting. Be careful driving because there could be a lot of road rage, those type of things. But again, these are the trailblazers. These are people who are independent. These are people who are very determined, driven. They're operating on a not so great vibration. Like I mentioned, they can be aggressive. They can be impatient, egotistic, stubborn, someone who could be set in their ways. So for number 2, this is a feminine energy, again, whether you're male or female. So if you are someone who may have gotten to some sort of argument or dispute with somebody, if you want to have some sort of olive branch, I would encourage you guys to do it on a day, a 2-day, because this is, again, feminine nurturing energy. So the conversation will go a whole lot more smoother versus you doing it on the first,
Sure.
or anything that's like 10, whatever.
I was going to ask you, when you're talking a 2-day, is it just a matter of a 2 being in the number, like on the 12th or the 22nd, or like, are you talking like 11th where it adds up to 2 or something like that?
Well, remember, we don't break down the master number, so it can't be 11, but like on the 2nd.
Got it.
Those kind of things. Or if you have the 2nd in your birthday, like my birthday is in February. Oh, yours is in January or February?
January, but 22nd.
Yeah. So I have the 2 for February. So even though that's not my life path number, I have the 2 energy in there. Do you see what I mean?
Yep.
So with the 2 energy, this is the peacemakers. They're very diplomatic. These are people who want to go above and beyond to make everyone comfortable. Okay. And they're great they have good intuition. Things are not that great is they struggle with making decisions because they want to make everyone happy. So they kind of put themselves last, those kind of things. They can be a little bit too sensitive sometimes. They can be critical of themselves or others. And these are also people who, again, have a very hard time making some sort of kind of decision because they want to make sure that it's good for everyone, but then they put themselves in the back burner and they end up kind of like screwing themselves over, basically.
Yeah.
So, okay. So number 3, again, number 3 is the number of communication, networkers. These are people who are quite funny. A lot of comedians are life path number 3. These are also people who, again, may be very social and charming. If they are operating on a low level, these can be people who can, commit crimes, can be criminals, can be a bit scattered. Okay. But on a 3-day, I mean, have fun, be social, do a podcast, whatever it is that you want to do. On a 4-day, this is interesting. This is the number of law and order. So you will notice that a lot of people who are life path number 4 or their birthday adds up to a 4 are in law enforcement of any kind or the military of any kind. Also, these are days like 4, 13, 31, because they add up to a 4, are days you should not dabble any type of questionable behavior. Not that I'm encouraging it, but you got a 90% chance of you getting caught versus on a regular day.
But you heard it. Moon Girl says any other day, just go crazy. So.
Well, it would be like a 50% chances versus like an 80 or 90. So I'm just saying, this can be it doesn't have to be like some horrible crime, but like, maybe you stop. You ran through a red light, you said YOLO, I'm just going to go through this red light, or, a cop's going to be there. And if you notice, again, law enforcement, so there might be a lot of, usually there's a lot of police officers out that day, 4th of July, 13, 31. So, I mean, again, not encouraging questionable behavior, but, I would not do anything questionable on those days. But these are people who, again, they can't, they are hardworking, they're ambitious, they're practical, but, vibrating at a low level, they can be resistant to change, very stubborn, very stuck in their own ways, and can be workaholics, which again can cause some sort of issues with the spouse, children, etc. So yeah. Let's go to 5 days, or your life path's a 5, or it somehow adds up to a 5. So like 1423. These are the supermodels of the numerology. So usually these are very attractive people physically. Again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but they're typically attractive, people. They're adventurous. They like to travel. They're curious. They enjoy freedom. They're open-minded. They're very charming and charismatic. Bad traits is they can be promiscuous. I'm just going to throw somebody under the bus there. They can be a bit promiscuous. They can be impulsive. They can be vain. It'd be kind of hard to tame them. So they may have a hard time with commitments, with a spouse, or even with like commit to something like a work or whatever. But on 5 days,
I may have known someone like that anyway.
So on 5 days, I would encourage people. Not everybody can just travel at the drop of the dime, but if you want to plan a trip, try to do it on the 5th day, or even if you want to go have a family day in your car, go to the shore, whatever it is, on the 5th day would be good. Also, they're pretty social as well. So, like for instance, if again, like I told you earlier, if you can do so much with numerology, like if you live in a place that the number adds up to 5. So say your address adds up to a 5, you're going to be living in a very social environment. You'll probably have a bunch of like guests over all the time, a party house, those kind of things. Also, for those who are having a hard time conceiving, try, making that baby on the 5th day. That's a love day for trying to get pregnant. So I'm just throwing it out there.
We're going into uncharted territory in GhostBox Radio, that's for sure.
Yeah, instead of spending all that money on trying to get pregnant with those shots, send me the money. I'll get you pregnant. Do it on the 5th, okay?
What's happening? What's going on? I just want to also interject. We have about 6 minutes left. Just.
My gosh. Okay. 6 days, home and family. These are people you want to get married with if you want a family home or something. People with that 6 energy, or the number start adds up to a 6. So this is like the wifey husband kind of thing. 7, number of the genius. Again, people quite intelligent. They can be kind of lonely. I'm going really fast on this. Number 8 is the number of money and karma. So if you want to sell things that add up to a number 8. And the number 7 is not lucky, like they say in the casino. It's actually a number 8. All right. Again, it's the number of karma. So what goes around comes around rather quickly. Other people can do something bad. It comes to them later. But with number 8, it comes back really quick to you. Number 9, we've already talked about it. I'll skip that one. 11 is, a master number. I wouldn't necessarily, it can also be a very emotional number. A bunch of tragedies happened on 11 days. Okay. So I would avoid anything that's risky, flying, whatever, like 11, 29, those kind of things. It's a spiritual number. It's a number of enlightenment. Again, it can be a very emotional number as well. I wouldn't necessarily live somewhere with an 11 energy because you might have some hardships there. 22, master builder. This is someone who can build you up or physically build up like a bodybuilder or any of those kind of things.
You said 22? 22?
Yes, 22.
Right,
they can build a business, build themselves up, or it can be like a coach who builds a team, or builds an army, whatever. I'm just going through some other. 33 is a master teacher. These are the trailblazers. These are people who come in to teach the collective higher knowledge. But again, can also be overly emotional sometimes, and can hold secrets. So yeah, in a nutshell, there's so much more, but yes.
Well, that's just it. People need to follow you so that they can get more of that. And you heard it here, folks. Moon Girl said she can get you pregnant. So
if you don't get pregnant on that day, there's nothing I can do. That's the one day.
I don't want to ask anymore. I don't know if it includes a banana or something, but you can go and find out on Clapper, I guess. What
right? The home of the bananas.
As we are wrapping up, and I know we're still a little early here, but you're a lot of different places, and I want you to tell everybody again how they can follow you, because you are worth following. You're worth
thank you so much.
And people who would like to partake in this, I think would really get a lot out of you. So once again, how can they follow you?
You can follow me on my Instagram, Moon Girl Mistress of the Paranormal, Facebook, Moon Girl Mistress of the Paranormal, YouTube, Moon Girl. I think it's either Moon Girl Paranormal or Moon Girl Mistress of the Paranormal. The Clapper, Moon Girl Paranormal, TikTok, Moon Girl Mistress of the Paranormal.
And honestly, folks, do it, please. I mean, and you know that there's that crappy convention we were at in 2021 in Las Vegas, but it was worth going there to meet you and
likewise
good friendship since
absolutely
there.
Team Aqua, yeah,
that's right. and that we're hoping to figure out a way to get together for an event, an investigation. We're working on that, so that's really exciting. Do you have any events or anything coming up that you want to share with us?
More podcasts coming up, and hopefully during fall season, some paranormal events. I don't really know the dates yet, but they're going to get back to me. So when that happens, I'll start talking about it. Till then, we wait.
You just wait your turn and go to the one of 15,000 places that you are on social media that people can follow and hear all about it. So that's always good too. This was fun. This was really cool.
It was.
Adam, as we have 5 seconds left, any ending thoughts based on having this stuff sink in for you a little bit?
Honestly, this was quite enlightening, and it does answer a lot of the personality trait questions that I always kind of wondered coming from a single parent home, and that did answer a lot of them.
So there you go.
Oh, great. I'm glad you liked it. Well, I hope you liked it.
Now, Moon Girl, we'll have to have you back again, and certainly back. I mean, and obviously back in December, because if you're open to it, I'd love to do another round of predictions.
I already have my predictions. I'm going to be honest with you. I already have some predictions.
Oh my goodness! So definitely, folks.
I try to get them early. But I already have some. Woo, yeah.
I love it. We're back tomorrow with Paul Blake Smith, the Nixon Gleason alien encounter. We'll see you tomorrow, folks.
I'm standing up for the middle.